Om. 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 Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We are in Jnaneshwari, Bhavartha Deepika, chapter 18, verse 49. And the verse 49 says, Asakta buddhi sarvatra jitatma vigata spruha naishkarmya siddhi paramam sanyasena adhigacchati. Here we are talking about a wise person, or a sadhana is given by taking how does a wise person live. And the example taken was, just as a wind does not get entangled in the nets cannot be caught, cannot be ensnared. Similarly, the wise man, even though he's living in this world, living with his family, with the children, with the wife, with the parents, but he gives zero value to them. It's an art, it's a knack. And that knack does not come by thinking, contemplating again and again about them. Same thing came in the Kathopanishad also. Pashu, Dhana, and Putra Putradi, Pautradi. So three things. Same thing here. So nobody is asking that you have to run away anywhere. Running away is not the answer. Reassessing what is your self is the answer. Coming to your real self is the answer. So when that once that you click that, once that knack comes about, and that knack will only come about when our mind is not extroverted. So here this example was taken, instance of mundane existence such as body. Such a wise person, he is not living at the body level at all. He is Jivan Mukta while living. Nobody knows what happens afterwards. When we finish Katha Upanishad, then we'll find out what happens after death. Does consciousness continue to be or not? Or you go there and tell me. I'll be waiting. See? But this wise man, he has left the body. When we are given sannyas, we do viraja home. In that viraja home, we give up our body, we give up our senses, we give up our mind, we give up our all identity with reference to world, with reference to parents, with reference to God, with everything we give up. And this is done after and during the Shraddha. So we do our own Shraddha in sannyas. पर 12वीं नहीं मनाते. Everything is over in one go. 2 hours later, no entanglement. It's not the act which makes it happen, it's your intention. What is your disposition? So what is the disposition of the sannyasi or the sannyasa yukta? न कर्मणा न प्रजया धनेन त्यागेनैके अमृतत्वमानशुः. न karmana, without karma, meaning without getting involved in any damn projects. I have to do this to achieve, I have to do that to achieve. And we saw this in Kathopanishad. On one hand, we go prayers, we go after the world to achieve something. And when we are tired of that and we find no answer, we go and join an ashram. Or we go Godwards. But from God also we want something. So we put efforts. Pray, Shreyas. In 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we are talking about Nishreyas, that which is beyond the good and the pleasant. There also same thing is being talked about. It will come in our next verse in Kathopanishad. So here this sannyasi, he is given up his body. Giving up the body means he's not worried about birthdays. He's not in grief if someone near and dear dies. Drama karna padta hai, no doubt. When Mahatma in Haridwar, his guru passed away and he was giving lectures somewhere about 100 kilometers away. The news was sent, a car was sent straight away, and he was there, and immediately he finished the lecture and he came back to the ashram, and he saw so many people already gathered before he has come. Thousands of them. And as he is going towards the body of his teacher, Guru Maharaj, who has taken Samadhi, everyone is saying, no, Swamiji, aise hota hai. He saw everyone crying, so he was giving them Swantwana, he was consoling them, this, that. But how many people will he console? 1, 2, 10, 50, 100, okay. But there are thousands of them. Very difficult to go through every one of them. Like in Australia, when someone dies, you stand at the door, everyone comes, shakes your hand. Oh, I'm sorry for you. They don't even mean it. It's just a ritual, that's all. So what is the best way? What this Mahatma did. He started crying more crazily than all the 1,000 people put together. Then all of them, it's easier for all to take care of one than one to take care of all in that situation. So everyone said, Swamiji, you only teach us Atma is Ananta, Atma is Satchidanand, Atma doesn't die, Atma is not born, and you should not grieve, it's only body. The soul continues, please don't cry, we understand, you loved him very much, this, that, everyone is giving. ठीक है, 10 minutes सबने बोला. He went in, got a tea and had a good time. See? Drama is to be done. Krishna was the greatest dramatist. He knew how to act in any given situation. And it is not coming out of manipulating people. It is not coming out of manipulating people. It is practical. Is it possible for one person to sit there and say, oh, I'm sorry to 1,000 to 10,000 people? Okay. Just as when the fruit becomes ripe, it does not cling to the stem, nor the stem remains attached to the fruit, so his attachment to the worldly life diminishes, even though his son, wealth, and wife act according to his wishes. Not every time they act according to his wishes. Many places they don't even listen to him. Tulsidas ji, when he was told by his wife, if you had shown this much passion for and passionately called out to Ram, then crossing the river in flood, the Ganga river in flood, holding on to a dead corpse, crossing the river, climbing a tree into her bedroom, into his wife's bedroom. I'm disgusted by your act. If you had shown this single pointedness of purpose, towards your Ishta Devata Ram, you would have attained Ram. There and then he left and became Tulsidas, never to go back. Ramakrishna Paramahansa sits living with his wife. But he considered Goddess Mother, never his wife. Jnaneshwar Maharaj, I think I gave these examples last week. Jnaneshwar Maharaj with his brother and 2 brothers and 1 sister, yet not attached to anyone. Then what? Attached to what? Attached to the higher. Living with his brothers, living with his family, moving from one place to another, giving lectures, answering questions, doing what is required, what nature is invoking out of him, but never forgetting for a moment about his ultimate purpose, having taken birth as a human being. Do we remember this? Do we remember this every moment? Yesterday also, with this point we left the lecture. Now assess yourself from that lecture 9 o'clock till today 7:30. How many times you were aware of the ultimate purpose of our life? Or again we have gone back into our default mode. What is for breakfast? What is for lunch? What is for dinner? He said this, she said that. This is not happening, that is not happening. What will happen to Omicron? What will happen to us? Think. Point is not, this is default settings. Our default setting should be that we are ever aware. Not aware of thoughts. We are ever aware of that constant principle, that constant presence that I am, that the self is. This knack you have to develop. If you apply yourself for a good month or 3, it all depends upon how relaxed and single-pointedly you are pursuing it. The knack comes. Like without thinking, a father is always thinking about his daughter's marriage. If the girl has grown up, he's continuously looking. He goes to the temple, he goes to the different marriages, he goes to any function. His eyes always look out on the good boy for my daughter. Natural, isn't it? Why? He has come to this conclusion that it is my responsibility to get that, to find the boy for her. Have we come to this conclusion in our life that it is our paramount duty, paramount responsibility, having been given this window of opportunity of human birth, to realize that we are the infinite self? Has this clicked? Has it caught fire inside us? It may happen once or twice and here there, but it has to be a raging fire. In that raging fire, na karmana, all karmas burn away, na dhanena, all wealth burns away, na karmana, na prajaya, all relationships burn away. Relation is maintained, but relationships end. Wealth is there, but attachment to wealth, a desire for wealth is gone. Efforts, the body will put the efforts. Still thinking will go on, speaking will go on, body activities will go on, kriya will go on. But identification that I am doing the activity, this will be burnt away. Na karmana, na prajaya, na dhanena. This is renunciation while living in the world. Remember what is the chapter saying? Moksha Sannyas Yoga. And in this verse also, the word they have used is Sanyasena Adi Gacchati. The one who practices all this goes to Gacchati, goes to what? Towards renunciation. See? Goes towards renunciation. If this is how the masters are living, then you put that into practice into your life and you will move towards renunciation. And it must be natural. It is not forced renunciation. It is not calculated renunciation. Once I am financially secure, then I will renounce. It will never happen. Once I have done this in the world, once I have done that in the world, once I have finished all these responsibilities, then I'll take sannyas. It doesn't happen that way. We are not saying don't do all those things. Do it with zero value. If it is meant to happen, it will happen. If it is not meant to happen, it will not happen. Many parents frustrate why their children are not getting married. Somehow they do get married after. Then they are frustrated why our children are not producing a grandchild. And that is also after some years, today's children, they get married at 30, they produce first child at 35, 30 to 35. Instead of taking, what do you call, Vanaprastha or move towards sannyas, now they are after them. Have second one, have second one, have second one before we get old. Otherwise, I'll not be able to help you. I will not have energy. Where is our attention? Where is our our orientation of life? Is it towards all this or is it towards? But if you are saying, hey, you have second one, you keep them busy. Okay, you have second one now. Now you are busy. You don't need me anymore. Go away. This is smart. This is smart. But unfortunately, majority that people I see around me, they get caught up. They get caught up. Then they want me to tell someone. One boy came, he said, Swamiji, I want to get married. I said, oh, very good. You're already too late. He says, no. Then what? Have you got a girlfriend? He says, yes. I said, then what's the problem? He says, my parents. I said, why are they? No, my girlfriend is Punjabi and I am from South India. I said, what's the problem? How does it matter? You love each other? Yes. Do you care for each other? Yes. Will you sacrifice for each other? Yes. When these three things are good, Miyan Bibi Raji to kya karega Kaji. So in front of his father and mother, loudly I said, if within 6 months your parents don't agree, you come to me. I will get your marriage done. Within 2 months, the father agreed. Before 6 months, the mother agreed. Reluctantly, I must say. But once the child was born, grandchild was born, sab bhul chuk maaf. Now she's the most wonderful daughter-in-law. How stupid we are, to think in this manner. They unnecessarily create distinctions. Choose wisely, discriminate, choose that one in which there are no distinctions, no variety. And that one is the infinite self, Parabrahma Paramatma. And he is expressing as the Atma within, the self within. While doing all activity, remain aware of that which is never changing. Dukkha only comes from considering you are this body. With the body comes wealth, with the body comes progeny, children, wife, parents, hunger, thirst, comfort, discomfort, ego, all it is because of the body. If you give zero value to the body while living, all problems automatically vanish away, dissolve away. And this is how the sannyasi lives, or one who practices this in his life moves towards sannyas. Sannyasena vigacchati. Even though his son, wealth, and wife act according to his wishes, he does not call them his own. He does not call. For Mahatmas, for everyone is their own. They don't have their own children. All children are their children. Now, don't apply the same example for everything. They don't have a wife, but all wives are theirs. Don't think that way. But yes, every woman is there. Every female is their mother. Every man is their father or a friend or a child. See, there's no competition. There's no comparison with anyone, because his disposition is that he alone, he is not, if you take it from the first point of view, he is not the body. All this is just existing in its own absence. ठीक है, चलता है यार, सब चलता है, चल, आगे बढ़ो. I have to remain focused on the self. The other way of looking at it is that the self alone is expressing through everyone. So nobody in this world is not mine. Everyone is mine. See, this is the Anvaya. This is the Ishwar Advayavad, which Jnaneshwara Maharaj practices from the Kashmiri Shaivism. Continuing. Now his intellect, which had been scorched by sensual enjoyments, turns inwards to the contemplation of the self. Even if his mind wanders and comes into contact with sense objects, he never forgets the oath he has taken not to go after them. Sannyas is an oath. When you get initiated, you are taking a commitment, making a commitment. That I'll pursue the God way, the way of the divine. When you take a mantra, get initiated in mantra, you're making a commitment that I'm going to pursue this path. I'm incessantly, so that my vision, while living in this body, my vision changes with reference to the world. So that I see that the whole world is nothing but the divine alone. This is the commitment that is taken in the sannyas. It's a vow. Just like after Janeu, you take the sankalpa, the vow of chanting the Gayatri mantra. Similarly, when we take sannyas, we take a vow not to come down from that all-encompassing vision. We are not saying that every sannyasi is already there who is working towards it. Many times they will fall, but they keep working towards that, keep working towards that. Working towards renunciation. Where there is 100% renunciation, that very moment, 100% immortality. Little bit less mortality. Little bit waker, no sleep. Little bit of waking world lurking in the mind, no sleep. No world, then no waker. Then only sleep. Same way. So yes, when we are living in this world, not only you, we also, we are continuously bombarded by the sensual stimuli. Seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, in this, so much variety is there in this world. One better than the other. Check when you meet friends. What is your topic? Yeah, when we were in India, in that gully, that paranthe wali gully, that was fantastic food out there in Delhi, Purani Delhi mein. In that corner in Tilak Nagar, the Golgappas are the best. In Bengali sweets, in Bengali market, this thing is the best. You know all what is best everywhere. What are you doing? And when you go to India, whichever, or go to Fiji, or go to wherever, whichever country you are coming from or state you are coming from, you make sure that one visit is reserved to one of those places, isn't it? We are lusting after taste. I'm just giving you one example. Multiply it for all senses. Even if his mind wanders and comes into contact with sense object, he never forgets the oath he has taken not to go after them. This option, those who were listening to Kathopanishad yesterday, at every moment of our life, we are at the crossroads. Do we choose the road which leads to the world, or we choose the road which leads to the self or to the divine? This option is available all the time, every moment of our existence. If you red pill or the blue pill, Matrix, red pill or the blue pill. One pill will keep you in the loop. The other pill will show you the truth of who you are. One is the Shreyas Marg, one is the Preyas Marg. The Preyas Marg, the world, the path of the pleasant, minimum. At that moment, it seems there are no difficulties. It's so easy. Someone has offered me, I didn't ask them, they offered me chocolate, they offered me samosa, they offered me this, they offered me that. Someone gave me a land. Swamiji, this land is for you. Please build an ashram. Thank you very much. After that, my whole life is upside down. Why? Because I accepted that land. I have not accepted anything. Don't worry. I am not building any ashram. Same way, someone offers you chocolate, you eat one, you eat two, you eat three. Because easily available. As they have given you so much love, at least I should take it as a prasad, no? and then do what? And sugar suddenly high. So pleasant in the beginning, pain later on. But the path of good, there may be pain in the beginning, but long lasting joy, happiness. So choose. Who can choose? The one who is discriminating. Discriminating between the real and the unreal, permanent and the impermanent, changeless and the changing, infinite and the finite, Sat and Asat, Chit and Achit, Anand and Dukkham. Continuously, this is the awareness that we have to maintain all the time. So every moment something comes to us, we are able to choose correctly. Because the lure of instant gratification is very powerful. Very powerful. (961st verse). तैसे ऐक्याचिये मुठी माझी वडे चित्त किरीटी करू निवेधी ने हठी आत्मयाच्या तेव्हा दृष्टा दृष्ट स्पृहे निमणे झालेची आहे आगी दडपलिया धुये राहिजे जैसे म्हणवनी नियमिलिया मानसी स्पृहा नासौनी जाय आपैसी किम बहुना तो ऐसी भूमिका पावे पै अन्यथा बोधु आघवा मावळो नीतया पांडवा बोध मात्रीची जीवा ठावो होय धरवणी वेचे सरे तैसे भोगे प्राचीन पुरे नवे तव नुपकरे काहीची करू. He says in the next OV that then hold, now here is the sadha, practice given. What is the technique to bring this about? That mind does not wander when the onslaught of the stimuli is there. When the mind is wandering away, pulled away by the stimuli, how do you bring it back? Then holding his mind in the grip of unity. What is grip of unity? What is that in which all these thoughts are coming? What is that container in which all the experiences are happening? Or who is this I who knows all this variety? I am not many. The objects that are coming to me, the stimuli that are coming, the thoughts that are coming, they are many, but I am always the one. I am only one. So who is this one? If not that, what is the container? What is that container? Mind is the container. What is the container in which all these thoughts are coming and going? What is the container in which all the waves are coming and going? You will come to the original. You will come to the all-encompassing principle. Then holding his mind in the grip of unity, he makes it cherish the self. So, what is that? We'll take it the way Jnaneshwar Maharaj is saying. What is that unifying principle? The mind. That mind, that I. Then, with that I, instead of the I seeking the world of variety, he seeks the world of the divinity, the infinite self. Because it is the I which is seeking, no? So is the I entertaining the variety of the world, or is the I entertaining the 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 contemplation on who is this, what is the true nature of I, who knows everything? Just as the smoke is smothered by the dust covering the fire, his desire for sense enjoyments in this and the next world is destroyed. The desire for sense enjoyments in this world and the other world, meaning after that death going to heaven, all these desires are, the seeker cannot destroy them. Seeker cannot destroy them. But when the seeker is contemplating on the self single-pointedly, continuously, sincerely, dedicatedly, then the onslaught, the impact of these desires goes away. When you, again, simple example, which you are doing every day, when you are thinking of sleep sincerely, dedicatedly, continuously, wanting to merge into the sleep, but thinking of sleep is not equal to sleep. But thinking of sleep continuously, single-pointedly, ekagrachit, what happens as a result? Even while you are thinking, what is happening? All the desires for the world, they dissolve away, they leave you. You can see them sometimes coming here and there, but the sleep is so dear at that time that you just, even though you know there are some desires erupting, but so, for example, a desire, let me drink some water. Sometimes we just overlook it. Or the light is on somewhere. Who cares, man? One night is not going to increase the bill. Oh, have I locked the door? Oh, every day I think the same way. Have I locked the door? Today I will sleep without checking it. Because the sleep has caught you so much. You're contemplating on it, surrendering to it, wanting to be one with it so intensely that none of these default settings which are in your mind are able to get the better of you. They can't attract your attention towards them. Why? You are attracted by the thought of sleep. You are contemplating on sleep with an intention of merging with it. And in that process, even before merging, the whole world is leaving your mind at a great speed. When the last bit of the worldly thought has left your mind, now one thought is left. What is that? I want to sleep. That thought is left. That why I want to sleep thought was only used or was only introduced to counteract all other thoughts, all other desires. So desire for sleep was counteracting all the desires of the world. When there are no desires for the world left, then the desire for sleep is also not required. This is the point that is made here. That his desire for sense enjoyments in this and the next world are destroyed. A more easy word, dissolved, melted away. In short, he attains to this plane of yoga with the cessation of false knowledge. He remains absorbed in the knowledge of the self. Such a person, just as a person who has given up seeking bliss by interacting with the world, now he's seeking sleep, which is absence of everything. Because he's tired of pursuing the world. And he knows that the bliss that he experiences in sleep is more potent than all the bliss put together, all the joys put together when he is desiring the world. Isn't it? Even greater is this yoga sthiti, where the I is abiding in I, where your mind has gone to sleep, but you are still awake. This is that final consummation. That is the yoga sthiti, where mind has gone to sleep, meaning mind is zero, but you are still awake. You are not gone to sleep. You have not gone into coma. You are aware. You are the presence there. This is the yoga sthiti. So really speaking, you are always in that natural state. Then what is keeping you away from your natural state? What is keeping you away from your natural state?
The attention we give to the world.
What is keeping us away from that, not allowing us to be in that natural state? Who is hijacking us away? The desire for the world. What is world? Na karmana, na prajaya, na dhanena. Na karmana, na prajaya, na dhanena. Choose wisely, Baba, choose wisely. How much more clearly can Bhagavad Gita or Sri Krishna tell us here? How more clearly can? He has been banging this down our throat from beginning, second chapter onwards. पर हम भी कुत्ते की पूंछ हैं, टेढ़ी की टेढ़े रहेंगे, सीधी नहीं होंगे हम. Logic there is, kutte ki poonch is naturally always curled. So we are also curled, crooked. Our Swamiji says, don't twist your body, straighten your mind. Don't twist your body. Don't get into unwanted activity. Just come back to yourself. Just come back to yourself. In and through all activity. Just as stored water, see, and this, for this, you don't even have to be realized. Dharana, dhyana, samadhi. The moment you come to dharana, you are hooked on the contemplation of the self. Still, the world sometimes comes, disturbs you, goes away, but you are still hooked on to the self. And when you continue with that, then comes dhyan. What is dhyan? You are continuously contemplating on the self with minimal distraction. What is samadhi? Absorption into the self as the self. So that minimal distraction which was left in dhyan, that also is taken away. That also is dissolved. That's when merging happens. That's when samadhi happens. Just as stored water gets exhausted by gradual use, so his accumulated karma from past lives gets expiated by being enjoyed in the present body, and his mind does not feel like doing fresh deeds. Because doing fresh deeds, beginning new projects means what? Getting involved. Meaning what? Your initial first step, you have an itch, you have a desire to do something in this world. You have desire to do something in this world only when you take world to be real. You take world to be real only when you take yourself to be the body as real. Understand this whole process. You have taken your body to be real because you have forgotten your essential nature, the self, the infinite self. So, to regain, to be the infinite self, can you do anything out there in the world which will bring you the self back to you? Can you help the world and be the self? No, but Mahatmas do that. See that Mahatma does that. See that great master who does that. Are you a great master? No. Then what you should do? Wherever life has placed you, Bhagavad Gita, this chapter, what did it tell you? Based upon your varnashram, wherever you are, wherever you have been placed, whatever is coming natural to you, whatever the world is presenting itself, you deal with it, face it naturally with your ever contemplating on the self. Ever contemplating on the self. Don't try to do, oh, that person is building temples, I will also build temples. That person gave so much donation to ashram, I will also give donation to ashram. Oh, nowadays huge crowd is going to that Mahatma, I will also go to that Mahatma. I think he's a popular one today. It doesn't work that way, Baba. By going anywhere, by pursuing anything, self-realization does not need all this. No tirtha yatra, no tapasya, no karma, no dana, nothing it requires. All that you are doing, why? Either you do it because of the feeling of abundance. Don't do it as a favor. Majority people do it because they are accumulating merit. That is why they are doing it. Don't do it to accumulate merit. Just let it happen. If the urge, if from inside you remain contemplative of the self, in the mind a desire comes in the particular situation, I want to do this for this person. Do it and forget it. You have to, whatever. Because you are not doing it. It is your prarabdha. Whatever you have accumulated, that is getting exhausted. So there may be pain, there may be misery, there may be grief, there may be lot of wealth, there may be lot of sense stimuli available. As in the case of Janak Maharaj, he was living in the midst with all the dasis and queens and everything was at his beck and call. He was the king of his land, but ever aware of the self. Are you the king of this body and mind? Then alone you can, because the whole world is in the mind alone, then you are the king of the mind, world also. But if you are a slave of this mind, then you are a slave of the world. You are a slave of the senses. Just as stored water gets exhausted by gradual use, so his accumulated karma from past lives gets expiated by being enjoyed in this present body, and his mind does not feel like doing fresh deeds. When does this happen? When you are doing continuous japa. Vaikhari madhyama pashyanti para. As you are moving, coming from the outside, you are coming closer and closer and becoming subtler and coming face to face with the self. Para. Transcending Jagrat Swapna Sushupti. Then what is happening? Whatever is meant to happen, that's what he's saying here, that all his accumulated karma, that is getting worked out. That is getting worked out. Somewhere your mind will react, somewhere something donation is given, somewhere you will want to do something for someone. Automatically it will happen. It's without any intention. Your attention is only on the self or on your japa. Just like a mirror. Mirror just keeps reflecting whoever comes in front of you, in front of it. It doesn't accumulate more memories. Doesn't accumulate memories. But we have accumulated. That's why we have a body. From Sanchit Prarabdha has come. And Agami is which you are going to collect. So what are we doing? We are contemplating on the self. What is this contemplation on the self? Which leaves back, gives back no result. There's no conclusion there. Conclusion is always for someone. There's no one left to accept the conclusion. Because you are the beginning and you are the conclusion. Everything begins from you and everything concludes in you. What begins from you and what concludes in you? Waking begins from you, concludes in you. Dream begins from you, concludes in you. Sleep begins from you, concludes in you. Samadhi begins from you, concludes in you. But you continue. You don't begin and you don't end. So where is the karma getting exhausted? It is getting exhausted in the waking plane. It is exhausted in the dream plane. It's getting exhausted in the sleep, in the samadhi. All these four places, if you are contemplative on the self at a very fast rate, the accumulated karma, the sanchit karma, the subconscious desires, karma only expresses as desires, all starts getting exhausted. In the end, nothing will be left. Where nothing is left to be exhausted. There is nothing left to be exhausted. But you are still there. That is realization. So, yes, desire liberation, but work on your mind. Make it single-pointed. Make it contemplative. Make it God words. Make it self words. Let it be divine oriented. उसको चस्का लगना चाहिए मन को. अभी मन को चस्का लगा है वर्ल्ड का, उसको लगना चाहिए चस्का आत्मा या परमात्मा का. 66th वर्स. ऐसी कर्मे साम्य दशा होयतेथ वीरेशा, मग श्री गुरु आपैसा भेटेची गा. रात्रीची चौपाहरी वेचलिया अवधारी, डोळ्यात मारी मिळे जैसा. कायऊनी फळाचा घडू पारुषवी केळीची वाढू, श्री गुरु भेटोनी करी पाडू बुभुत्सु तैसा. मग आलिंगिला पौर्णिमा जैसा उणी व सांडी चंद्रमा, तैसे होय वीरोत्तमा गुरु कृपा तया. तेव्हा अबोधू मात्र असे तो तव तया कृपा नासे, तेथ निशी सवे जैसे आधारे जाय. He says, when he attains equanimity of the mind through righteous actions, he meets his guru without any effort on his part. This is my experience. When you are itching for the divine, not for the world, itching for the divine, desiring the divine, and in that desiring the divine, sincerely, continuously, in a disciplined manner, without hurting anyone, without manipulating the world for your gain. No. When you sincerely, righteously, you are pursuing that, without ill will towards anything or anyone, not caught up in the past or future experiences, only for the divine and divine alone. When you come to a certain level of poise, which is called equipoise. Equipoise is where the world is not able to invoke a reaction from us, because in spite of living in the world, our attention is on the infinite. In such person's life, the guru automatically appears. How many examples will I give you? You must have read many biographies. In Ramakrishna Paramahansa, every time he thought of one path, the guru of that path appeared in his life. When he wanted Vedanta Darshan, Totapuri Maharaj came into his life. Oh, but Ramana Maharshi did not have any Guru Maharaj. Don't compare yourself to Ramana Maharshi. अपनी औकात में रहो. You work towards quietening your mind. Quietening of mind must come about not by running away from the world, but must come about by contemplating on the self. You must fall in love with the self. Gather whatever data needs to be gathered, which I have already mentioned today so many times, in so many ways, and come to a resolution. Enough. Abhi shuru ho jao. Automatically the teacher will appear. It may appear in the form of experience, the teacher. It may appear in the form of a book, scripture. It may appear in the form of a guru outside. It may appear in the form of the guru within. You will be able to hear the voice of the divine within, which was eluding you. He was always speaking to you, but you were not available. That's the Sadguru is within. Okay, still difficult, but someone will come, something will happen to give you direction, to give you, to support you in moving with clarity forward. Do you go and ask anyone when you go to sleep, how do I go to sleep? Do you? Then why do you need a teacher when you have to go back to being yourself only? Stupid, isn't it? नहीं प्लीज मेरे को बताओ ना सोते कैसे हैं. I need guidance. I want to read scriptures. I want to know. I want to dissect sleep and work out what sleep is. This is what we are doing with ourselves. But ठीक है. We are caught in the matrix. We have to come out. When he meets his guru without any effort on his part. And I had many gurus, not only one. Many masters have initiated me. Taoist masters, Buddhist masters, yogic masters, Kriya Yoga masters. I never asked them anything. But they want to initiate. Kar lo bhaiya. When I think back in time, think back about those moments, not in detail, I can't remember them in detail, because I don't want to revisit it, but just in general, every person who came into my life to guide, the journey became even more, the mind became more purified. That particular teachers were required at that time for that moment to propel me forward. Why do you need so many gurus? Because I was Buddhu. I was that the curved tail of the dog. I am that. Everyone had to put too much effort to make it straight. Still, I am not straight. That's why so many masters. No, we have only one guru. You are already straight, Baba. Pranam to all of you. Very good. See, it is like this. When I want to know something about accounts, money, I'll go to an accountant. When I want to know about cooking, I'll go to a cook. When I want to know about investment, I will go to a financial planner. When I want to get married, I'll go to what is married life about? Then I'll go to some couple who has been living for many, many decades together. I'll go and take their and see them, meet them and talk to them, get advice from them. So this Teddy Punch, he wanted to know everything about the world. So whenever the mind was stuck in some particular area, that teacher came into life, that Guru Maharaj came into life, gave the clarity and moved on. See? Just as Ramakrishna Paramahans, when he wanted to know the devotion of Radha towards Krishna, the right teacher came, he got initiated, he started chanting Radhe Radhe, he became so at one ment with Radha. Then he wanted to experience the love of Hanuman for Ramchandra ji. He started growing a tail. He wanted to know the Christianity, the Christian teacher came into his life. He wanted to know Islam, the Islamic teacher came into his life. These are preliminary stages where your mind is, you're in dharana dhyan. At that time, you want to know about everything in clarity because you're still thinking the world is there sometime, but you're contemplating, but still wanting to know the world. You think only by resolving the world you will come to know the self. Till a moment comes when it clicks that I can never have 100% answers for everything in this world. This world is continuously changing. I have found answers for 1 million things. 2 million will appear again to find a resolution. It has to click कि यार ये तो पागल है. I am wasting my energy unnecessarily asking and pursuing things in this world. So what do I do? फिर क्या करूं? Go back. Self-contemplation. By going to the source, which is on which the entire universe is appearing. By coming to the source, everything about whatever is appearing, the entire knowledge will be at your fingertips. Not that you are continuously, अच्छा ये क्या सोच रहा है, ऐसे सोच रहा है, ये ऐसे नहीं 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 नहीं. You never lose who you are then. That is knowledge. When the 4 prahars, 12 hours of the night are over, the sun, who is the enemy of the darkness, makes his appearance. Therefore, it is told 12 years of sadhana is one vrat. One vrat, if you take japa of any mantra or any tapasya you do, it has to be, if you make a commitment, do it for 12 years. Then what will happen? Sun will rise, darkness will go away. No, sun is already up. No, Baba, sun is within. Which sun? Sun, the self is the sun. What is this? No doubts. Your mind will be doubt-free. Doubts are is the darkness, isn't it? Darkness is ignorance of the self, ignorance of light. Absence of light is darkness. Darkness is not something real. Absence of light is called darkness. The darkness was so strong in sleep that we are closest to ourselves, but we are not available to ourselves. Then out of that darkness comes waking and dream, which feel like light, but actually is an illusion. When you do 12 hours of tapasya, sadhana, japa, or 12 years, whatever you work, whichever way your mind works, the knowledge will rise forth. Knowledge is not knowledge of the world. That is me who was trying all these things. Therefore, curd tail. Knowledge is only one. Self. Self is self-knowledge. And how is this knowledge? Without a thought, without vritti. It is not corrupted by vritti, nor it is corrupted by absence of vritti. That is true knowledge. Vritti means thought. It is not corrupted. Self is self-knowing. Just as sun supports a day and night, but is not affected by presence of day or presence of night, because both are just illusions, phenomenal. Same way, when such a person comes to be abiding in the self as the self, then whether thoughts of the self come, Upanishads come, don't come, satsang or no satsang, tirth yatra or no tirth yatra, who cares? There's no one to care. There's no personality there. When the plantain bears a bunch of bananas, its growth comes to a stop. In the same way, when the seeker meets the Guru, he becomes perfect and his activity comes to an end. When does his activity come in the end, come to an end? Mannatha Shri Jagannatha Madguru Shri Jagadguru Madatma Sarva Bhutatma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. This is what the teacher teaches the seeker. If we consider ourselves to be the seeker, the teacher teaches this. What does he teach? Who is the teacher? He is the expression of the Lord. What does he teach? He teaches you what the Lord has spoken. What has he spoken? The scriptures. And what are the scriptures saying? The Lord in your heart is the Lord of the world. The Guru outside is the Guru within, and the Guru within is the Sadguru, the Guru of the whole creation. This is what the scriptures are teaching, which the teacher, the Guru Maharaj, is teaching, taking the support of the scriptures or his experience or his abidance to the seeker. So first the Lord, Mannatha Shri Jagannatha, Madguru Shri Jagadguru. Who teaches you Mannatha Shri Jagannatha? Guru. What does he teach you? The Guru within is the Guru without, is the Jagadguru. When you recognize these two principles, that the Lord in the heart and the Lord, that same Lord is appearing in the whole world, the Guru within is the Guru of the Sadguru of the whole creation. Then what is the final? Madatma Sarva Bhutatma. This is the Anvaya. Anvaya is all inclusiveness. What is that? Madatma. This self that I am, this Atma that I am, is the same Atma which is expressing through all living sentient and non-sentient things. Through living, through inert and conscious beings. I am the essence of everything and being in this creation. Madatma Sarva Bhutatma. Bhutatma of the entire creation. I am the source. I am the self. Just as I am the self of this hand, I am the self of this hand, I am the self of every cell in this body. Same way, I am the self of this entire nature. Sarva Bhutatma. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So here when I'm explaining, I'm again and again deviating to the higher one. But here, first it was purification. When you purify, then the teacher comes into your life. When the teacher comes, and you don't have to seek a teacher in your life. Those people who say, I have made him or her my Guru, they are having the biggest ego. Caught up so deeply in ignorance, maybe Prabhava of Kali Yuga, that I have chosen this person to be my guru. I feel affinity. I have chemistry with this guru. I feel at peace in the presence of this Guru Maharaj. So he is my guru. Nobody is talking about surrender. Nobody is talking about learning. They want what they want. If they get that from a particular person, they are ready to accept that person as a guru, even if he is a crook. And when you are looking at the world, desiring the world, taking the world to be real, you will make a mistake in selecting your guru. Ego can never know what is right for it. But when you follow this process as given in this particular verse, sannyasena adhigacchati, when the mind becomes free of desires, including that of guru, including that of mantra, just hold on to Om. The Guru Maharaj will come into your life. And that will be the appropriate one. When something comes unasked, surrender without too much worries, don't have suspicion now. It has happened. It has not been created by you, by your efforts. It has happened as a result of your purification. A purified mind is a single-pointed mind. A single-pointed mind which is not able to maintain, which is not able to surrender, which is not able to continuously contemplate and remain self-aware. Only such a mind requires a guru. If it was, then it will be like Ramana Maharshi, no guru required. Many masters are there, Mahavatar Baba, no guru required. See? When the seeker meets the guru, he becomes perfect and his activity comes to an end. What does it mean that the activity comes to an end? That he is no longer the karta. I have to understand what is being told. No, let understanding happen. Don't try to understand. Ego tries to understand. Then what do? You be available. You be reverential. You be fully, your disposition should be 100% with faith, with patience, that whatever is meant to click will click today. And I'm sure today is approach it with faith that this satsang is the last one. Everything will be clear. The Lord will catch me from within. Be 100% available. But instead, we are busy trying to understand. Can you repeat this? Can you say that? Can you do this? Can you do that? But you said that in that lecture, but you said this in this lecture. We are not philosophers or professors here. We are seekers. Seeker should focus only on 4 things: Vivek, Vairagya, Shatka Sampatti, Mumukshutvam. Prepare, 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 prepare. With what single pointed focus, you must have pursued your career. And now today it is bearing fruit. You don't have to put efforts anymore. Everything comes natural to you. Put efforts to contemplate on the self. The one who contemplates on the self, the world is already conquered. When the plantain bears a bunch of bananas, its growth comes to a stop. In the same way, when the seeker meets the Guru, he becomes perfect and his activity comes to an end. Now, no more seeking. Now, what? Only clarity. Even after I met Anubhavananji and I got sannyas, he sent me to, I said, now what? He says, now what means? You decide. I don't want to decide. This is after sannyas. I don't want to decide. Then he called me. Acha, go to Badrinath. Learned 1 month. Go to Vrindavan under a teacher. Went there for 2 months. Then go to Varanasi. There 6 months. Then go to Girnar. Another 1 month. Then from Girnar, which is in Gujarat, so I came to Bombay again. 1 year was over in this period. He says, और कहीं जाना है? He is asking me, और कहीं जाना है? और कुछ ढूंढना है? We are all fortunate that Vedanta has come to us in our life. It's not it's that easy. It is grace of the divine alone that we are able to be available to this Vedantic thought. Many people can't even digest these verses when presented in this manner, like Jnaneshwar Maharaj or Adi Shankaracharya. Because they are committed to doing karma is everything. Here we are talking about renunciation. Renunciation of what? Renunciation of karma. Renunciation of doership. And how you are renouncing karma? By getting the clarity that activity is taking place at the material level. I am the conscious one. When I get identified with the activity, I become the doer. If I don't get identified with the activity, then I'm not the doer. How do I bring about this non-identification of with the activity? How do I bring about non-identification with the activity? By recognizing that activity is happening only at the gross, subtle, and causal level. And who am I? The one who knows these three. Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. For whom are these? For the mind. Who am I? The one who knows that these three come and go every day. Story over. Now, instead of becoming a karta, becoming a doer, wanting a particular result, you be a contemplator. Now you direct your activity, and it is not an activity. It is just being aware. Just accepting that you are the constant principle. Find out how. Do you need to think to be, or you are in spite of thinking? This is what the Guru teaches you. This is what the scriptures teach you through the mouth of the Guru. That you are the changeless principle. You are the essence. You are the center without perimeter, without circumference. That means center without circumference means you are center everywhere. There is no one location. Oh, but I feel located here. Because you have taken this circumference of the body as I. Drop it. This is what the scriptures are saying. This is what the teacher, Guru Maharaj, is saying out of his experience. This is what you do every night when you go to sleep. You give up your identification with the body, then alone you experience bliss, don't you? Do it consciously. Do it with awareness. अभी बैठे बैठे बोलते बोलते यू आर देयर, सुनते सुनते यू आर देयर. Don't identify with the speech, don't identify with the activity. Be aware. Be yourself. Be the self, not yourself, be the self. Remain equanimous. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Oh, you should have said it like that. Oh, what did he say? Oh, what did he not say? Get out of that game. Get out of that game. We want to understand when we are extroverted. When we are introverted, every word hit its mark. Every word hits the bullseye. The words are not important. The consciousness is important. The words are riding on consciousness. You are receiving the words because you are conscious. I am speaking the words because I am conscious. When consciousness meets consciousness, knowledge takes place. Words don't create knowledge. They indicate. So stop trying to understand. Satsang is an opportunity to practice what I just told. Remain aware, remain conscious. Then you discover the scriptures within. Then you discover God within. Then you discover the Guru within. Mannatha Shri Jagannatha Madguru Shri Jagadguru Madatma Sarva Bhutatma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. The penultimate step, na guroradhikam tattvam, na guroradhikam tapaha, tattva jnanat param nasti. Tattva jnanat param nasti. There is nothing greater than knowing the tattva, the essence. There is no greater tapa than knowing the Guru within. Na guror adhikam tattvam. There is no tattva greater than the Guru tattva. If you think Guru is the body, it's because you have come to the conclusion you are the body. If you think Guru is God and put his photograph and, hey, Guru, Pai Imam, still a form. He's the tattva, he's the essence. So when I'm giving you this technique, the words of mine are riding the consciousness, and you are receiving these words because you are conscious. If these words are riding the consciousness, not pure consciousness, ego consciousness, and you are receiving these words not on ego conscious, not as pure consciousness, but ego consciousness, then there'll be clash, there'll be friction, there'll be misunderstanding. But if I am ego and you are pure, you will say, ठीक है, बोल रहा है, बच्चा है. If the other way, I will say, अरे बच्चे हैं, सब seekers हैं, this will. But both are at the same consciousness meeting consciousness. That's the Zen moment. The eyes meet, the lips smile, no words are spoken, but oneness is experienced. Words are heard, oneness is experienced. I'm using the word oneness is experienced. It hits the bullseye. It hits the mark. Words were only the indicator. So satsang is a place, is an opportunity. हो गया time. Opportunity over. Satsang is an opportunity where for this 1.5 hours, instead of gathering knowledge, let's become available 100%. Becoming available to 100, being available 100% is not possible without sannyas, without renunciation of the world, without getting locked up what each word is meaning, what that sentence was. Don't try to get into that. We have to be that all-encompassing one. If I am the source of everything, how come I'm seeking? Knowledge comes forth. I am of the nature of knowledge. Chit, Sat Chit Anand, I am of the source of knowledge. Everything is known, yet I am depending upon the words. Words are only phenomena. Phenomena cannot reveal the permanent. Find out your own game plan, master plan or follow this plan. Jnaneshwar Maharaj's or Krishna Bhagwan's chapter, verse number 49. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Just sit quietly for a moment. Hari Om, Hari Om.
हरिओम स्वामी जी।
Hari Om Swamiji.
स्वामी जी।
Okay.
हरिओम स्वामी जी।
हरिओम स्वामी जी।
हरिओम स्वामी जी।
Hari Om, Hari Om.
हरिओम स्वामी जी।
Hari Om. Hari Om.